Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He's a Charles.
She's the enthusiast.
I am enthusiastic because we got some soapbox issues to talk about today.
Yes, well, we want to say Happy Throwback Thursday. It's beautiful. It is Thursday, and so there's all the hashtags on Happy Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
People throw vintage photos out there on
This
Instagram.
is my old cheer coaching
Facebook,
shirt.
Yes, exactly. I'm rocking UMKC.
Yeah.
It's been a couple years since I've been out, so I definitely want to show some love. But we're excited today because we're doing a new subject within our show today.
Yeah, very cool.
Soapbox subjects. So it's kind of a new element to our show, and we're kind of excited. And it's just really in reference to things that we take issue to when it comes to all levels of athletics.
Right.
Rather it be people being treated unfairly, whatever the case may be.
Rules of the game, whatever.
Rules, right,
well, you know
exactly.
where soapbox came from. Back in the day when people would come into town, they'd go to the middle of the town and they'd want to get up, or the preacher would try to talk to you and they would stand on these soapboxes, used to come in these like big crates.
Yes.
So people would step up on a soapbox to tell you about their, so we're getting up there, but ours are all sports related.
Ours are all sports related. And so it's kind of, like I said, it's a new element to our show. We're excited to kind of do it. We brought up these topics before, actually, in some of our previous episodes, but this is something that needs to continue to be brought up. And one of the soapbox issues that we want to bring up today is dealing with players getting compensated in college, and really more of just about the coaches that get paid a lot for what they're doing within the college levels, and how unfair that is for the coaches to get all this excess money, and then the players that do all of the work to get nothing, get minimal rewards for what they do. And so it's just a big issue right now because it's continuing to happen.
And that's your issue?
Yes.
Mine is these youth sport athletes specializing in one sport.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Before they even get to high school, forget going to college. I'm talking about from bitty ball on, specializing in one sport.
And how important it is to be involved in other sports.
You've got to diversify. So that's my topic.
Right. Well, I guess I'll just speak quickly here. The North Carolina Tar Heels just won the national championship.
Congratulations,
in basketball. It was awesome. The redemption that they had going on all year for how they lost the year before. That's great. They had a great year. I love all those guys. I picked North Carolina to win, so I was really rooting for them.
You won the office pool, by the way.
I did win an office pool this year, so that was awesome. But the big storyline that one of our friends, one of my friends from K-State, he posted this article. Coach Roy Williams got an excess of almost $1 million worth in extra funds for winning the national championship, for getting his team extremely deep in the tournament and then ultimately winning it. It was like $956,000 or something like that. Almost $1 million worth of money.
Above his paycheck.
Yes. Okay. Almost $1 million worth of external funds that he received by getting his team to the national championship. Now, do you think any of those players saw a cent, a dime, any type of compensation for how long they had to endure all of the things that they had to do, be missing school, traveling, staying in the hotel rooms, etc., and then actually having to play in the games? No one saw any of that money. But Coach Roy Williams received all of that money. And so it's just one of those situations where it's just like, it is a continuation of the exploitation of these college/amateur athletes at these educational institutions that produce so much money, millions of dollars, to these schools and get nothing for it except for, hey, you won the national championship, or you won the big game, or hey, congratulations, you're on the team, the sports team that you elected to go to that school for. It's just a big deal to me. And when you hear the numbers like that, it's not just in basketball, it's in football, it's in all the other major sports. And it's just really frustrating because being a former college athlete, I can't understand how these athletes aren't getting anything for the stuff that they do. There's no fruits of their labor when it comes to sports.
Well, the fact of the matter is these are not amateurs. These are money-generating employees of the university who are being unfairly compensated for quote unquote scholarships. But in basketball, just as in football, you have uncompensated players, you have walk-on players, you have players on half scholarships. And even if you take that scholarship, very often it's not enough to actually cover the full cost of room and board for those young people. Then you add to it North Carolina, and it's specific to them, is when you said that they have to travel and do that stuff. Basketball players travel during the week, sometimes 2 or 3 days during the week, and then still have to come back and be accountable for their athletics. So North Carolina is under investigation now because there was a class open to any student, but primarily taken by the student athletes, and it was basically a guaranteed A. I think you wrote one paper or something, you didn't have to show up to class, and you got an A. It was a guaranteed A. So now we got the NCAA looking into this, and you got the Maryland coach saying they should get the death penalty. That is outrageous. Not only do these kids not get paid, but the expectation that they have to live up to these standards, which I think are appropriate in the collegiate level, but then we want to punish them if they are traveling 3 or 4 days a week and have one class that helps them out with a GPA score. I think that is ridiculous. And I know they might sound like separate issues because you're talking about paying the players versus that, but the sacrifice that the players make, if you're going to hold them to that kind of academic standard while they're traveling during the week and then traveling into the tournament and all that, not only their conference tournament, but then the NCAA tournament, and they get zero for it. So basically all we're saying is not only do you don't get money, we're going to punish you too. Outrageous.
And when you hear the coaches and the coaching staff and the higher ups, the athletic directors, all of these people that are just reaping the benefits from what the college players are putting themselves through, it's ludicrous.
For them to get nothing. And you know what? If Coach Williams took his $900,000 and said, okay, I got 15 guys on my roster or 20 guys on my roster, I'm going to give each of you $1,000. That'd be $20,000, a drop in the bucket to almost $1 million. He couldn't even do it. First of all, that's an insult to them. Hey, here's your $1,000. I've got $1 million. But he couldn't even do it. He's not even allowed to do it. He could take that $900,000 and say, I'm splitting this evenly among all of us. This was all, we're all going to take a fair share. He can't even
He
do
would
it.
get suspended. He would get expelled.
Program would be death penalty, everything.
Everything, exactly.
It's time to change the rule.
Anyway, that's my soapbox issue for today. That's my soapbox subject. There's going to be a lot more of these to be coming.
Every time there's a championship, we need to do one of these.
So anyways, let's go to yours. And you're talking about younger kids or just all athletes continuing to be multi-sport athletes and being involved in as many sports as possible, or at least as what you can get into. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is correct. And you know, when we moved here to Kansas City about 11 years ago, and your little brother started out in soccer just like you did. Soccer first, football next, then football always. But we had scouts out at the 3 and 4-year-old soccer games, handing out their cards to parents saying, hey, I've helped this kid and that kid, this kid, trying to scout 3 and 4-year-olds for footwork to have their parents pay them. And then what happens is kids start specializing, starting at the ages of 4. This is preschool age kids. By the time they're in kindergarten, 1st grade, they are completely locked in and will tell you quickly, oh, I'm a soccer player. No, what you are is a child who needs to be exposed to lots of different sports till you find your groove. And you're underdeveloped and you're minimally athletic at that point. And all it takes is for one kid who can throw fast, you know, with the first time they do kid pitch softball or baseball, one kid who can do layups quicker than everybody else in 3rd grade, you know, one kid who's this tall and super speedy and is running through flag. And you'll get an adult who says, this is your sport for the rest of your life. And what you end up doing is robbing that child of the opportunity to, first of all, find what else he might actually, he or she might actually be good at. And then 2, you get these kids in high school. Didn't you say, you're a high school football, you help the high school football, you coach on the staff. A kid, didn't you say 6 foot whatever, 300 pounds? And won't play football because he's
he's a prototypical offensive lineman, and he's like, I only play this one sport. I don't want to mention the sport, but he's like, I only play one sport. It's like, dude, you'd be a 3-year starter on the varsity level playing football. He's like, oh no, I don't play football. I only do this one sport. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any. And the kid is probably an average athlete at the sport that he plays as it is. So you know, it only helps your chances when you get a wide range.
Well, here's why I'm on that soapbox, because I gave birth to a prodigy football athlete. And it was when you could barely walk, you could run, and you could juke through the house and that sort of thing. We knew you were talented, but we diversified all the different sports that you did. One of the sports you didn't love was track. And we're a track family. If you Google some more Dunyas, we run track. That's what we do. You didn't love it, but you did it, and it taught you things that enhanced you as an athlete for football and basketball. Why don't you speak on that?
Yeah, just basically, long story short, there's a lot of anxiety when it comes to running track. It's very individual, as much as it is a team sport. It's very individual, and you have to go through a lot of things. One of the races is the 400. They call it the man's race because it's a very, very tough race. Way back in the day, it used to kind of be a middle distance race. Now it's a full sprint now. It is 100% a sprint, and so there's ways to run that 400. And if you don't run it the right way, or if you don't know how to run it, it can really hurt you. You will finish dead last.
Yes.
And anyway, that race taught me how to kind of do things in life.
Tell it.
You know, you could start out really fast and then fizzle out. You could start out slow and finish strong. There's certain ways that coaches tell you how to run it.
Right. You don't want to get too far behind.
And then, you know, because some people have larger strides and bigger kicks. You know, it's just about how you know how to run it. But the point is the 400 taught me how to kind of deal with the race. And then I took that, and it's really helped me in a lot of ways, just in life. And so that's just one example.
And yet you played college football.
Exactly.
But you did track, you did basketball, you even did a stint in baseball for a while and played football.
Exactly.
There's no reason to specialize. You're robbing yourself.
Exactly.
I do want to talk about the loneliest position in sports is in the blocks during track.
Oh,
when
boy.
It says set and the gun, they still shooting guns.
They still
the
shooting
gun
guns.
is getting ready to go off. You're in there like set, wait, bam.
It is a lonely spot right there. We want to say thank you for joining us.
That's our soapbox
subjects today. We will have much more of that coming forward, and we want to say we appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time, folks.